grand scale.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Oops, me and Ben. How y'all doing today? Today I've got my friend with me. Can you see who this bobblehead is? This is Mr. Dan Kennedy. We just got done with Dan Kennedy's Super Conference for the last 3 days. By the way, how many of you guys were at Super Conference? We were in Dallas, Texas for 3 days, which was insane. We had Dan Kennedy there with us hanging out. Dan was speaking. Dan spoke on stage 5 times, which is crazy because he's kind of ornery sometimes. Doesn't always want to speak on stage, but we got him to speak 5 times. For those who were there, Dan was awesome. So here's bobblehead Dan. We brought him home with us. You guys could all see him as we go. So anyway, before we get started, I got some cool stuff to share from you from Mr. Dan Kennedy. But if you are here today, let us know if you are here live. Let us know live in the comments. Let me know where you're from. Yeah, I want to kick this off, like finding out where all you guys are from. Looks like Tim said the Super Conference was insane. Thank you for coming. Anyway, you guys, when we do these kind of events, it's funny because like we spend so much time and energy and effort marketing them and buying ads and doing emails and campaigns and stuff. And like, I want, if you guys trust me, do you trust me? If you trust me, you should just come to these things. Like they are magical, life-changing experiences. The amount of energy we put in something like that. And you know, Super Conference is great. We had about 500 people there in the room. But what's cool about the fact there was only 500 people in the room is typically at Funnel Hacking Live, like I love FHL is my favorite event ever, right? But there's 5,000 people. And so like, I can't go in the hallways because I get swarmed by people and we have to have bodyguards and stuff. At Super Conference, there's only 500 of us. We all hung out. Like I was sitting in there as an attendee. I was learning. I was taking notes from Dan. We all hung out. We took pictures. We did book signings. Like it's just a magical experience that like you can't get anywhere else except for there. So those who were there, I'm glad you were there. If, those who weren't, like in the future when we offer stuff like this, do not miss it. It's amazing. So with that said, Dan Kennedy wanted to say thanks for hanging out. We appreciate you guys. And yeah, and so that's kind of the game plan. So actually, as we were preparing today's live, I was like, what can we share? Like, you know, there were so many cool things that happened this weekend. Like I was like, I want to talk about a Dan Kennedy thing. My face is all blurry. My camera does this weird thing where it'll focus on like a weird thing in the background. There we go. I'm back. I'm not blurry anymore. Anyway, so we're going to talk about some Dan Kennedy stuff. I'm curious from you guys, what is like your number one, if you guys have followed Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy, if you don't know, he was my mentor when I first got in this game. He's the person I learned from, still to this day, the person I study the most, listen to the most. Anyway, I was a student and a fan started as a fan first, then became a student, then was in like the mastermind groups. And then years later, when his business came up for sale, I had a chance to acquire it and to buy it. And now it's been fun to work with him every single week. Every month we have a chance to talk on the phone. We're doing events. And it's just like so fun to like, I don't know, to hang out with your mentor and learn directly from him. It's been really, really cool. But for those who have studied Dan or heard me talk about him, what's your number one favorite like Dan quote or analogy? I'm curious which one's your guys' favorite. For me, I'll tell you my favorite because this is one, literally the entire the whole concept of funnels was built off of this one premise. When I first got in Dan Kennedy's world, I remember he kept saying this thing. He's like, whoever can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. And when I first heard that, like, it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, what is he talking about? This is an old guy. I'm like, you know, maybe in direct mail that's true, but I'm an internet guy. It doesn't relate. And I didn't understand it. And probably because back then when I first got started 20 whatever years ago, like the game was different. A lot of you guys know my story about Potato Gun DVD. Like I would put the DVD up for sale on, I put up a website. I would go to Google and buy Google Ads. You spend like $5 on Google Ads, make a $30 sale. And that was it. It was like, this is so simple. This is the easiest game in the world. That's how it was when I was in college. And then, and I was like, you know, this is my future. It's going to be easy. But then what happened is that it didn't last long. It got harder. Every type of media, as Dan Kennedy talks about, every type of media over time, it starts really cheap. And then as more people jump in, it gets more and more expensive. And it got to the point where for me to sell a $30 DVD, I just spent $100. And so how do you do that? Well, you do that by doing what Dan Kennedy said. Whoever can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. That's where sales funnels came from, for upsells and downsells and the value ladder. And everything I teach in all the books all came off of this one core concept I learned from Dan Kennedy. And this is actually, you guys want to hear a really cool story that Dan told me? So back in the day, there was only a couple TV channels, right? It's like CBS, NBC, ABC, right? Those are the 3 TV channels. Eventually Fox came in, so there's 4. But that's all it was. But I guess TV back in the day, again, this is back when Dan Kennedy was a kid, so I don't know, not in my lifetime, but back in the day, they'd have TV and they'd sell, but like at 10 o'clock at night, the news would end and then TV went off the air, right? Because they assumed everyone's going to bed at night. And so Dan and some of these great marketing geniuses back in the day were like, hey, we should buy the airtime. And they went to the TV stations and they're like, no one watches TV at 10 o'clock now, they go to bed. And like, oh, we understand that, but like, can we buy the time anyway? And so guys like, sure, for $35, you can have from 10 at night till 6 in the morning, for like $35. So they would buy that spot, and then they would start just running the very first ever infomercials on spot. And they were paying $35 for like a 12-hour block of TV time, right? And little did the TV stations know is when the news ended, most people who were sad or upset or depressed or whatever, not happy with their life, they continued watching it. And they started making insane amounts of money. Just like when I was in college, where it's like, I spent $5 on a Google ad to make $30, and it was like, the easiest thing in the world. Same thing was happening back then. But then guess what happened? Other people were like, wait, why are these guys showing commercials tonight? This is amazing. They started contacting the station. I want to buy commercials. And it went from like $35 for all the airtime to like $35 for an hour to like $35 for half an hour to like $100 for half an hour too. And then the prices went up to eventually now like that's like prime real estate, right? The nighttime TV spots are some of the most expensive real estate you can get because those are the people who are trying to change their life are usually the ones who are still late at night watching stuff, right? Which is why it's like prime infomercial territory. But just interesting, that's how media works over time. And so funnels became essential because it was impossible to break even and be profitable initially. And so that's my favorite Dan Kennedy thing I've ever learned from him. Anyway, there's so many other cool Dan Kennedyisms. So all right, here's one. I'm just reading. Angela's posted. There are 3 types of people who make things happen. Those who watch things happen, those who wonder what happened. Oh, sorry. There are 3 types of people. Those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. Very, very cool. Oh, sweet. And then we popped it up there. I love it. Okay. So with that said, it's kind of set up. I'm going to jump into, I'm going to show you guys one little micro presentation from Dan. This is one that, it's one of my favorite teaching points from Dan. If you've studied him, I've gone through every one of his courses, every book, everything he's ever done, I've gone through, and he shares this story over and over again. So after we bought the company, the very first Funnel Hacking Live that Dan came to, which was 2021, so it was right after, it was the first event post-pandemic that we did. We brought Dan Kennedy out. Most people thought he didn't even know he survived. Like he almost died. Most people didn't know he survived. A lot of people thought he was dead. And so like it was one of the coolest experiences. We showed this Dan Kennedy video talking about him and then talked about how he died, but then we talked about how he didn't die. And we told the whole story. And then all of a sudden like the screen comes up and like Dan Kennedy walks out with all the smoke around him and people went nuts. Like people were in the audience crying. Like I thought he was gone and he's here. Like it was like one of the most magical experiences ever. And then I had a chance for like 3 hours to interview Dan from stage. And so I knew like, as I was asking questions, there were stories I knew that like legendary Dan stories I wanted to hear the answer to. And so I had asked him questions to set him up. And so this morning, Ben Moot went through the archives. I was like, I want to tell this story. So we found this video clip. It's not long. I think it's like 6 or 7 minutes long. But this is one of my favorite Dan Kennedy stories. And so we're gonna watch this video together, then we're gonna come back and I will tell you guys the story behind it because it's really, really powerful, okay? It's all about, well, I'll give you the title of it. It's how to go from being an annoying pest to a welcome guest. So with that said, Ben, am I queuing this up? I think I am. Hold on. There it is. Okay. All right. With that said, I'm gonna cue up the video here in 5, 4, 3, 2.
One of the stories, I think you wrote about it, I don't know, originally, the first time I read it was in the Ultimate Sales Letter, I think. You talked the story about the welcome guest versus the annoying pest. Would you be willing to tell that story? Because I think it kind of ties into that and the marketing messages that people are putting out.
So people show up as annoying pests precisely because they don't get message to market match going in, right? So this is actually true. I was living in Phoenix. I was home. I stayed home. I never went to the office. And I didn't want to be there. They didn't want me to be there. You kind of know this gig, right? So I worked at home. And it was a weekday, middle of the day. And we had big wood double doors. And there's this monstrous banging on the wood double doors, ringing the doorbell and then banging on the doors. And this was a recession. So the Avon ladies and the Jehovah Witnesses were carpooling. And I've told that joke for 35 years. I've only ever got one complaint, and it was not from the Jehovah Witness. It was from an Avon sales manager who I had just destroyed her sales force and self-esteem, and they'll never work again. You know, just completely humorless. Today, you'd of course be banned from Facebook. So because I know no one invited is coming over, I know this is an annoying pest. And I'm busy, I think I was on the phone, so I ignore it, confident that if you ignore a pest, generally it will go away, right? It will tire of trying to get you to pay attention and move on to the next house. So this goes on for a while, but I'm pretty stubborn, so I can ignore a lot. And next thing I know, this person has climbed over the back wall of my property, which, by the way, has shards of glass on top of to discourage this idea. And they've in the backyard, they've compassed the pool and the hot tub and stuff, and they are now banging on the sliding glass door, which they can see me through. So now you're kind of if you don't, so okay. So the message is, all of the shrubbery in your front yard is on fire. And the flames are licking at the stuff. And of course, not everybody was walking around with a cell phone then. So his message was, you call the fire department and I'll go back out there and work the hose. Now, at that second in time, he went from being a most annoying pest to a most welcome guest. Right? And the only thing that changed was right message, right time. Right? That's it. So, in our world, there's been a decade-long insanity of email delivery drops, open rates go down. So marketer who was sending 1 a day sends 2. Then his open rates go down further, so he sends 4. Then his open rates go down further, so he sends 8 until his open rate is 0 and he's sending 1 every 5 minutes, right? You can't really amp up being an annoying pest and get results. It's hard work. A super salesman could do it. Like I have a friend who I always say, you could give him a crate to stand on and put him in a bus station. And he will walk out of there having sold $5,000 coaching programs to every vagrant who's in the place. But he's a pretty rare fellow, right? Most people are not, they don't have the combination of that skill. I mean, I say I could get a check out of a rock. I'm that capable. But I don't want to. I want people to want to give me checks, right? And that's about this dynamic change of always asking yourself, is everything I'm doing here organized so that I'm showing up as a welcome guest? That's why we use FedEx a lot instead of direct mail, because interest level automatically goes up because it's FedEx.
Package, yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. The next question I have for you, and it's funny because I quoted you in all of my books saying this, and then I think 3 times in the last 2 days I've quoted you. This is like the quote that had probably the biggest impact.
We actually had a member who made what would Dan do bracelets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I was really uncomfortable with having these handed out. I didn't stop them, but I was uncomfortable.
That's awesome.
All right, there you go. From annoying pest to welcome guest from Mr. Dan Kennedy himself. So, question for you is that lesson, that message, how can you guys use that in what you guys are doing, right? Because all of us, if you think about marketers, like we're not like, people aren't like, yes, sell me something, show me an ad, get all excited. Like, how do you change the environment where you move from being an annoying pest to a welcome guest? And the one thing to also think about is like, it's not possible to always be a welcome guest. There's gonna be people who are annoyed by you no matter what. So first off, like, be okay with being annoying. I guarantee there's some people right now listening to this who are like, Russell's so annoying, he talks too fast. Like, I'm not gonna be welcome guests in the world no matter what. Yet they keep showing up, which is just, there's a lesson for another day, right? But understanding that, like how do you create an environment where it's like people look forward to hearing from you, stuff like that. I always think about this inside of our business. Like, there's like the thing that you're selling, right? There's the value. There's also like, how do you entertain? Like, who is it? Sunny D in our rap calls it edutainment. Like, how do you wrap these things around where you're entertaining people and you're educating, like these two things together, right? It's not just selling or whatever. It's like, how do you create these environments where it's really fun? But it's also like figuring out like, how do we find somebody and get our message in front of them at the right time? So many people will go and they'll do a webinar once and like, oh, I got X amount of people bought, but no one else bought, and they don't realize like. And this is why this comes back to the theme from last week, which is like going consistently over and over and over and over again, because you have no idea like when your person needs your message, right? When they're ready for it. Essentially, I have a buddy that's in like the dating, like how to pick up chicks market, and he emails his list. Can you guys guess how often? Not once a day, not twice, not 3 times, 9 times a day. I was like, you email your list 9 times a day? First off, how do you like have enough energy to write 9 emails a day? Number one. But I was like, why do you do that? And he's like, you have to understand. He's like, most of the time, the dudes who are on my list, he's like, they're in a relationship and they're happy. So they follow me because they're there for the entertainment and the stories and stuff like that. They like hearing them, like we have a relationship, right? He's like, but I know that there's gonna be this point in time where something's gonna happen, where a girl's gonna break their heart, they're gonna get dumped, something's gonna frustrate him. He's like, I wanna make sure that I am the first email in their inbox when that hits, so that I can take them and I can serve them right then. So for him, he's just like, there's like 2,000 emails a day coming in. He's like, every like 10th email is gonna be one from him. Now, I'm not saying you guys should do that. I don't do that. But conceptually, it's like that's why we'd be so consistent with our message. And we keep coming out with it over and over and over again. Because eventually the people, like, it's going to be the time when the right person hears it and they're able to come and step forward, right? Typically, for most of you guys, you'll get tired of your story way before the marketplace gets tired of your story, right? Like, if I have to tell the potato gun story one more time, I literally want to jab my eyes out with a fork or a spoon or something. It's just like, I don't want to tell that story anymore. But like, there's a whole new audience showing up every single day who wasn't there the day before. That's like, I gotta keep telling this story and telling the story so that when they are ready, there'll be a chance to hear it. And then they'll be able to come into our tribe, into our fold, and we can help them and serve them. So anyway, any other interests you got, any other things you guys got from that, from the Dan Kennedy? Yes, Justin said message to market match, making sure that you got the right message to market match, 100%. Yeah, I always said 9 is too many emails. It is for maybe for my market and your market, but some markets, like, you know, I think about this, like, I remember back in the day, there was always this big debate, like, how often should you email your list? And people are like, oh, once a month, or like once a week, or whatever. And people are like, oh, it's so hard. And it's like, the reality is, like, if you're putting out stuff people want to hear from, like, they'll listen to it every single day. Like, people watch TV every single day. They watch the news every single day. Like, if you are putting out stuff that's entertaining, that's exciting, that's like something they care about, they'll listen to it every single day. So the more you do, the better. But there's obviously always kind of a fine line. So anyway, oh, see, Donnie said, what's the potato gun story? See, Donnie's coming in, doesn't know the potato gun story. I've only told it 18 billion times, so maybe I should tell it again right now. I'm not gonna tell it today, but yeah, that's how I got my start in this whole business, was through a potato gun DVD, teaching people how to make potato guns, right? And so like, that's my origin story. I keep sharing it so that, what do they say? Like, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? I have no idea when it's gonna be, and all of a sudden it's gonna happen. And it's funny because I meet people all the time, like, Russell, you changed my life. Like, I've been following you since the very beginning. I'm like, oh yeah, when was that? They're like, 2017, like, that's when I bumped into you at the very beginning. I was like, I'd been doing this game for 17 years prior to that. You just found out about me right then. That's your beginning. That's not my beginning, right? So everyone's like gonna bump into you different times, and it's the beginning of their career, their journey with you, and they think like that's the beginning of it all, and they have no idea about everything you did in the past. Which again, why it's consistency and showing up and doing these things over and over and over again is so valuable and so important. So there you go, guys. There is the thought for today, is how to go from being an annoying pest to a welcome guest. A lot of cool ways you can do that in your business. Just think about that. And that's kind of what I want to share with you guys today. So Russell rhymes with patience. Sorry, I'm reading the comments right now. You guys are awesome. Anyway, all right. So this week's going to be fun. We got a lot of cool things happening. One of the things happening this week, you guys may or may not know about, we're doing a challenge called the Think and Grow Rich Challenge. Anybody here ever heard of this book called Think and Grow Rich? I don't know if you've heard of it before. It's a book that sold like 100 million copies, changed my life and the life of like almost every great entrepreneur of all time. If you haven't read it yet, check this out. This is the version that I wrote the foreword for. Let's go. Anyway, this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're doing Think and Grow Rich Challenge, which is going to be awesome. And so, yeah, so it's going to be really, really cool, and it's free. So, and the coolest thing about this is it's not going to be like Think and Grow Rich Challenge where it's like, I'm going to be teaching Think and Grow Rich. Like, we got archival video footage of Napoleon Hill teaching these principles. So I'm going to set up some stuff, then cue it over to Napoleon Hill. He'll teach the principle. I'll come back and be like, how cool was that? And then we'll come back from there and do a bunch of other really cool things. We have some other cool speakers. Some of my favorite, like thought leaders on the planet are giving presentations. Anyway, it's gonna be really fun. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, completely free. If you go to thinkandgrowrichchallenge.com, you can go register. All the details are there. Someone asked what time it starts at. I don't even know. I think it's 9 a.m. Mountain, which is 11. Hold on, let me check this out. In fact, look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it. You guys should do it right now. So you're gonna open up a window. Okay, I'm gonna present this. I'm gonna show you exactly how to play this game with me. Okay, window. All right. So first off, can you see that? I gotta add it to the screen. Okay, so you're gonna go to a browser window. Up top, you type in www.thinkandgrowrichchallenge.com. It takes you to this page right here. It says, give me just 90 minutes a day for 3 days, and I'll show you how to think and grow rich. And then there's a picture of Napoleon Hill, some video footage, and you're gonna hear from me, Tom Bilyeu, Dean Graciosi, Jeffrey Gittimer, Sharon Lechner, Ashley Kirkwood, Trent Sheldon, Eileen Wilder, John Ashraf, Sonia Riccati, Annie Grace, Joe Vitale, like pretty much the coolest people on the planet. They're all gonna be teaching this week, which is exciting. And again, the challenge is completely free. So all you gotta do is put your email address in here, register, and then in 1 day, 20 hours and 8 minutes and 17 seconds from now, you'll have a chance to hang out with us on the Think and Grow Rich Challenge. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So if someone wants to drop that in the link, whatever comments you're at, just drop the link, just grab thinkandgrowrichchallenge.com, post it in the comments so you guys can find it. But come hang out with us. It's gonna be so much fun. It's completely free. If you wanna learn how to think and grow rich, that's where you need to be and why you need to be there. And I'm pumped. I love talking about Napoleon Hill. I'm gonna show some cool first edition stuff, some manuscripts, some really cool rare things as well. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So do not miss it. It'd be awesome. So with that said, that's about it for today, you guys. I'm gonna let you guys get back to your day and get back to work. One last thing, as you guys know, we send our text message right before I start these every day. If you're not on the texting list yet, please get on it for a couple reasons. Number one, that way you don't miss one of the times I go live. But number two, on top of that, is we're going to be giving away a free consult for 5 people. We're going to fly you to the Boise offices and do a free full day consult with you guys on your business, which will be fun. And we're picking those 5 winners from the texting list. And by the way, guess what? We finally got the texting to work internationally. So all of our international people, it's working officially. Right, Ben? Give me triple thumbs up. I think, yeah. Okay, we're good. So all you got to do is you got to use, it's not WhatsApp. No, it is WhatsApp. Yeah, I was gonna say, I always get WhatsApp and ManyChat mixed up. If you go to WhatsApp and you type in the exact same phone number, it'll hit you internationally. And that way when we text you, you'll get it hit your WhatsApp, and that way you don't miss it as well. So international peeps, you're finally able to hang out with us, be part of the party. I feel bad for those, where when I go live, it's like 3 a.m, but you know, it's still worth it. Come on now, you can sleep any day. But the days I'm live, you want to come hang out with me, right? Just kidding. All right. Okay, I'm going to drop the video. This last video is going to show you exactly how to get on text list. Again, if you're international, go to WhatsApp, text in there. If you're here in America, just text it real quick. It'll get you on the texting list, and that way, next time we go live, you'll have a chance to get that. We have some cool stuff happening this week. I don't want you guys missing it. Again, thinkandgrowrichchallenge.com. Go sign for free. With that said, appreciate you all, and we'll see you guys all mañana. Bye, everybody.
Russell Brunson, and I am kind of freaking out right now. I'm so excited. I just got a brand new phone. This is called my Funnel Hacker phone. And in this phone, I'm actually setting up a private community where I have a chance to text with my funnel hackers, with people like you about entrepreneurship and business and personal development and all the fun things that we love to talk about. And inside of this phone, I've been sending cool stuff that I don't send anywhere else except for people in my texting community. And I want to invite you to be part of it. Now, a couple things. Number one, the first thing I need you to do is grab your phone right now, and I want you to actually text me, okay? The phone number is 208-231-3797. I'll probably have it above or below or somewhere. But the number again is 208-231-3797. Text me right now. Text me, hey, text me, what's up, whatever you want to do. And that's the first step. The second step is my goal is I want to get 50,000 entrepreneurs and business owners and funnel hackers on my phone here in the next, before the end of the year. So that's my goal and my game plan, and I need your help. If you will help me to get 50,000 people on here, I'm going to invite 5 of you to come here and fly to my office. We're going to hang out, and I'm going to spend a day with you, coaching you on your business. The first half of the day, I'm going to sit down with you. I'm going to brainstorm your funnels, your structure, your offer, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to have my top copywriter help you with your copy, our funnel builders, our designers. We're all going to come in and tag team and spend a day with 5 of you here in the office. It's going to be so much fun. So that's the prize. That's the reward. The way you can win that reward is, number one, you have to text me. If you haven't texted me yet, you are not eligible to be part of this. I need you to text me so you can be part of my texting community, okay? Again, the number is 208-231-3797. I'm going to memorize that number, but as of right now, it is 208-231-3797. Text me. That's number one. Number two is every single time you help me to share this message, you get a vote. That means if you like the video down below, you get an extra vote. If you comment down below, you get an extra vote. You share this video, you get an extra vote, okay? And if you comment again, you get another extra vote, okay? At the end of this, after we have 50,000 people who are on my texting platform, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 5 of you guys to come to our offices here in Boise. We're going to spend a day going deep into your funnels, your business. It's going to be so much fun. You work with me, my copywriters, my designers, my funnel builders, and we're going to get your business up and launched live. This is a free gift for 5 of you guys. So again, the way to win, text me. Stop everything you're doing. Pause this. Text me. 208-231-3797.